I want to talk about Google, and I'm gonna go pretty far in this video. I'm not going over what they're doing right now. I'm kind of going over what I think they're gonna do in the future. So Google is known for their search engine, google.com, and when it comes to competition with that, Bing is nowhere close. I mean, Bing is literally a joke compared to Google. So in my perspective, this search engine that Google owns is the most powerful tool in the internet because of the data it collects. And I'll talk about that after we go over their platforms. So Google has these platforms which are both young and also used by every single person on the internet. And I think this is what makes Google so dominant right now and also in the future. So I'm going over their platforms first. And right now, you are contributing to Google by watching this video on YouTube. So if you are a shareholder, you would be basically paying yourself by watching YouTube, of course on a very, very micro scale, but that's the idea. And YouTube as a young platform is not even a teenager yet. I'm seeing amazingly entertaining content being produced on here, and this is what makes YouTube always bring back its audience. I mean, actual YouTube shows are created with the production value or even higher production value than of actual TV shows. And, just like 30 years ago, producing a TV show was very resource intensive. So there are good numbers to back this up too. In a quarter, Google had $17 billion in revenue from their Google properties, and this includes google.com and YouTube. And on that was 25% profit margin, which is very awesome to see, especially from Google, which is an advertising company. And I want to talk about an advertising company because, where can Google scale if the market of advertising doesn't scale with them? Because the market of advertising is only around $500 billion. So where does Google go from here? But my perspective right now on YouTube is that they will turn into the traditional TV. Major news channels and also sports are moving to YouTube TV right now, and this is because YouTube has grown to have a huge audience, and it's also easily reached around the globe. Because I can just go on a smartphone, I can go to an internet cafe, I can go to google.com, that's using one of their platforms, and then I can look up youtube.com, and that's using their second platform. And this is becoming so much easier than having an entire TV network installed. Also, for any independent networks that want to produce shows, I think that YouTube will grow the tools that they have so that smaller networks can produce their shows with more tools available to them and then therefore create higher quality content. Now this is with YouTube, which I think is their core platform right now, but I think they're using their search engine to further their future goals, which is what I'm going to talk about. And this is because Google has created two health companies, which I didn't even know about until I read their quarterly report. So I read through their most recent quarterly report, and Google has created these two companies centered around life science that are called Calico and Verily. And these are both very futuristic companies. I mean, Calico focuses on using advanced technology to develop a better understanding of the biology that controls human lifespan. That's a very futuristic sentence. And then there's also Verify, which focuses on utilizing data, like the data from their search engine, for bettering the lives of people in a health-centric way. So both of these companies are very futuristic style, and I think we're living in that age where health-centered advanced technology is going to become higher standard and also where the future is at for Google. So I think if these companies are headed by Google, they have great potential, and this is because of their search engine. So you see those movies with companies that provide longer life technology, and right now Google is studying just that with their vast amount of resources. So what do they really need to make that happen? And I think they just need data. So why is data valuable? Why do I keep going back to this data argument that I said with Facebook, Amazon, and now I'm saying with Google? Well, first off, Google has a vast amount of data that they own by owning the search engine, which collects every search term that people enter. So with this, Google can create an artificial intelligence machine that does what they need it to do for their health companies. I mean, we see artificial intelligence like Watson, and these artificial intelligence machines are currently being created by the use of data. Now, I'm going to do a rudimentary kind of explanation of artificial intelligence if you don't know much about it. But there's two forms. There's both supervised learning and there's unsupervised learning. With supervised learning, you basically you show a computer to make pattern connections between data, and with supervised learning, you tell which pattern is correct and which pattern is wrong. And then there's unsupervised learning, which doesn't have anyone telling what data is correct or what data is wrong. So with how this learns is that it's basically like Darwinism, as in the connections that are made accurately stay alive and the corrections that are made inaccurately are killed off. Now with this, we find patterns with artificial intelligence that has unsupervised learning or supervised learning, and we use those patterns to find things that humans can't see the pattern in. I mean, there's an artificial intelligence machine that has recreated new paintings in the style of Van Gogh using a sort of pattern that the artificial intelligence machine found. So what this does for Google is that they have the data they need to produce a machine like this, and then they can use that machine for their health companies in the future. So of course, this is my perspective on Google. There are a lot of assumptions. There's also speculation and there's science fiction involved, but I like looking at this, and I want to see if you like looking at this, if you like my argument about this, or if you don't. But what's the point of looking into the future if we don't consider these actual possibilities? Because just 10 years ago, smartphones weren't that popular. And just 5 years ago, a lot of the social media networks weren't popular, and now they are today. So where can we go in the next 10 years? Well, it might be very futuristic, more so than we actually think. So that was the video. I hoped you liked it. And do you think that Google's health companies are what Google is going to be about in the future? Because I think this is what is their future goal. Ultimately, bettering the lives of people with the health and advanced technologies that they own and also they create. So make sure to like the video. Also comment. Tell me what you think. I like talking to you about this. And also look out for this week's video is my 50th special video I'm going to be doing on YouTube. So make sure to look out for that.